She is a member of the same tour group as Queensland's 4 previously confirmed cases. Belgium, at least one case. There are at least confirmed cases of novel coronavirus in 29 countries and territories outside mainland China. More than 600 of those cases are linked to the stricken Diamond Princess cruise ship docked in Yokohama, Japan. 11 people have died outside of mainland China from the virus. 3 deaths have been recorded in Japan, including 2 Diamond Princess passengers. Hong Kong and Iran have recorded 2 deaths each, with 1 death each in South Korea, the Philippines, Taiwan, and France. Several countries, including the United States and Japan, have evacuated their nationals on flights from Wuhan, capital of Hubei province and the epicenter of the outbreak. The inquiry does not appear to focus specifically on the government's climate policy, concentrating instead on practical action to improve Australia's preparedness for natural disasters. She is a member of the same tour group as Queensland's 4 previously confirmed cases. Belgium, at least one case. Belgium has confirmed its first case of coronavirus, after 1 of 9 repatriates from Wuhan tested positive for the virus. This hospital has all the necessary expertise and support to. They tested negative for the virus, according to a Ministry of Information statement. The man's condition was stable and he only showed mild symptoms, it said. Canada, at least 8 cases. 8 cases of 2019 novel coronavirus have been confirmed in Canada, according to government figures. 3 of the cases are in Ontario, with 5 cases in British Columbia. The Canadian government has warned its citizens against all travel to Hubei province. It said the risk of the new coronavirus spreading within Canada remained low. Egypt, at least one case. Egypt announced its first case of novel coronavirus on Friday, according to a joint statement by Egypt's Ministry of Health and the World Health Organization (WHO). The person who tested positive is a foreigner, the statement said. Ministry of Health spokesman Drive Khalid Mujahid said Egypt discovered the case by testing passengers coming from countries where infections have emerged. Mujahid added that the WHO was immediately informed, and all preventive measures will be taken in cooperation with them. Finland, at least one case. Finland has 1 case of coronavirus. The patient, a 32-year-old woman from Wuhan, arrived in the country on January 23, traveling the same day to a village in the northern Lapland region, according to CNN affiliate MTV Finland. She developed respiratory symptoms and fever on Sunday and went to the emergency room on Tuesday, MTV Finland reports. France, at least 12 cases, 1 death. A Chinese tourist who tested positive for coronavirus has died in France, according to a statement from French Health Minister Agnès Buzyn, confirmed to CNN by the French Health Ministry. This is the first person to die from coronavirus in Europe. France's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has advised against all non-essential travel to the whole territory of mainland China over the coronavirus epidemic. The status of Hubei province, the epicenter of the novel coronavirus, is highly not recommended by the ministry. Germany, at least 16 cases. 2 additional people have tested positive for the novel coronavirus in the German state of Bavaria, a spokesman for the state health ministry said in a statement. The 2 new patients bring the total number of confirmed cases to 14 for the state of Bavaria, and 16 for Germany overall. According to the Bavarian Health Ministry, the 2 new cases are related to a company from the district of Starnberg, where most of the previously known cases were also employed. Hong Kong, at least 63 cases, 2 deaths. Hong Kong reported a 2nd death due to the novel coronavirus on Wednesday, according to the Hong Kong Hospital Authority. A hospital authority spokesperson told CNN that the 2nd victim is a 70-year-old man who was diagnosed on February 14 and admitted to Princess Margaret Hospital. The other patient to die in Hong Kong was a 39-year-old man who died on February 4 and had an underlying illness. The patient took the high-speed train from Hong Kong to Wuhan on January 21 and returned to the city from Changshan on January 23. He was said to have never visited any healthcare facilities, wet market or seafood market, or had any exposure to wild animals during the incubation period. Hong Kong has temporarily closed some of its borders with China and stopped issuing travel permits to mainland tourists. India, at least 3 cases. India has confirmed its third case of coronavirus in Kerala. The third case is a student who tested positive for the virus after returning from Wuhan, according to a Facebook post from Kerala Health Minister Keshalaya. The student has been admitted to a district hospital in Kerala and is in stable condition. Iran, at least 2 cases, 2 deaths. The first 2 coronavirus patients in Iran have died in hospital, an Iranian health ministry spokesman said on Wednesday. Iranian health ministry spokesman Kianush Jahanpur said in a tweet, following the outbreak of the acute respiratory illnesses in recent days in Qom, 2 cases, who in preliminary tests proved positive for coronavirus, unfortunately, have passed away in the ICU. Both patients were elderly and suffered from immune system deficiencies. The country's health ministry confirmed the first 2 cases of novel coronavirus earlier on Wednesday. Italy, at least 3 cases. Italy has confirmed its third case of coronavirus, after an Italian national tested positive for the infection, the country's health ministry said in a statement. The patient is the first Italian to contract the virus, following 2 cases of Chinese tourists with the infection. According to the statement, the patient was quarantined in the city of Cecignola, on the outskirts of Rome, after being repatriated from Wuhan last week. Japan, at least 68 cases, 1 death, plus 624 cruise ship cases, 2 deaths. Japan's health ministry has announced that 2 Diamond Princess cruise ship passengers died from the novel coronavirus on Thursday. Both passengers were in their 80s and died in hospital in Japan. 79 new cases were confirmed from the ship on Wednesday, according to the health ministry. In Japan, a total of 692 novel coronavirus cases have been confirmed, with 624 on the Diamond Princess and 68 outside the ship. Japan has confirmed 1 death from the coronavirus not linked to the ship, a woman in her 80s in Kanagawa Prefecture. Macau, at least 10 cases. Macau has confirmed at least 10 cases of the coronavirus. A total of 41 entertainment operations in the semi-autonomous Chinese city have been suspended for 15 days starting February 4, according to the government. The operations include casinos, betting branches, theaters, cinemas, game centers, internet cafes, discos, bars, nightclubs and dance halls. The outbreak has had a devastating impact on tourism in the gambling enclave, which relies heavily on mainland Chinese visitors. Gambling is illegal on the mainland and Lunar New Year is usually a particularly busy time for Macau's casinos. But not this year. Tourism to the city has dropped 73.6% year-on-year, the Macau government announced on January 29. Malaysia, at least 22 cases. The first case of coronavirus involving the Westerdam cruise ship was confirmed by Malaysia on Saturday, after an 83-year-old US citizen tested positive, according to a report from state news agency Bernama. Several Asian countries refused to let the Westerdam dock in their ports before being allowed to disembark in Cambodia on Friday. The cruise ship, which had a total of guests and 802 crew on board, was not under quarantine, Holland America Line said last week. All passengers and crew members on board the cruise ship were allowed to return to their respective countries by the Cambodian government after they successfully passed through health screenings. The US citizen and her husband, also American, were found to have symptoms as soon as they landed at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport from Cambodia, Bernama added. They were referred to the Sungai Buloh Hospital for examination, which concluded that the woman tested positive while her husband, aged 85, tested negative. The husband is still undergoing treatment and observation at the hospital for his symptoms. The total tally of confirmed cases in Malaysia is now up to 22, according to Bernama. Nepal, at least 1 case. There was 1 confirmed case in Nepal, a 31-year-old Nepali PhD student who lives in Wuhan but flew to Nepal earlier this month. He was admitted to hospital in Kathmandu on January 13, but was subsequently released on January 17 after his condition improved. The health ministry said people in close contact with the patient have been identified and are being monitored. Philippines, at least 3 cases, 1 death. The Philippines announced its third confirmed case of the coronavirus during a news conference by the Department of Health. The patient is said to be a 60-year-old woman from China who arrived in Cebu from Wuhan, viaduct Hong Kong in January. The Philippines has reported its first coronavirus fatality, the first death from the virus outside of mainland China. The patient was a 44-year-old Chinese man who flew in from Wuhan in January. He is the partner of a 38-year-old Chinese woman who was traveling with him, and who was the first confirmed case reported in the Philippines. Earlier, the Department of Health stressed it is on top of the evolving situation, but urged the public to wear surgical masks and avoid crowded places if they are experiencing symptoms, such as coughing and a fever. Russia, at least 2 cases. Russia has identified its first 2 cases, both Chinese citizens, Russia's TASS news agency reported, citing Deputy Prime Minister Tatyana Golikova. One patient is being treated in the Zabaikalsky region, which borders China, with the second case detected in the Tyumen region in western Siberia, which borders Kazakhstan, TASS reports. According to Golikova, Russia will begin evacuating its citizens from the Chinese provinces of Wuhan and Hubei, where there are 300 and 341 Russians respectively. Singapore, at least 84 cases. Singapore's Ministry of Health reported 3 new cases of the novel coronavirus on Wednesday, bringing the nationwide total to 84 confirmed cases. Among them are 2 women, aged 57 and 35, and a 54-year-old man. None of the patients has any recent travel history to China. The 35-year-old woman is linked to a 28-year-old man connected to the cluster at the Grace Assembly of God Church. South Korea, at least 104 cases, 1 death. South Korea reported its first death from the novel coronavirus on Thursday in a statement from the country's Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. The deceased was among 22 new confirmed cases, bringing the country's total to 104 on Thursday. Among these 22 new cases, 21 are from the south of the country and 1 is from Seoul, according to the CDC. Among the 21 new cases from the south, 5 are linked to a church, and 13 are related to the same hospital, including the dead patient. Spain, at least 2 cases. Spain's National Center for Microbiology has confirmed the country's second case of coronavirus. The diagnosed person is one of 4 that had been in contact with a French national who had been infected with the virus and were subsequently put under observation by Spanish authorities. The National Center for Microbiology analyzed samples from these 4 people. 1 of them tested positive for coronavirus while the other 3 tested negative, the Spanish Health Ministry said in a statement on Sunday. Sri Lanka, at least 1 case. There is 1 case of the coronavirus in Sri Lanka. A statement from the Health Ministry assured residents that local hospitals were prepared to handle any further outbreak. The government is contacting people who may have come into contact with the single case to detect potential contagion. Sweden, at least 1 case. Sweden has confirmed 1 case of the virus, a woman in Jönköping County who had visited Wuhan. When the woman landed in Sweden on January 24, she was free of symptoms of the infection, but later developed a cough and contacted a local hospital, Sweden's public health authority said in a statement. She was isolated in the hospital's infection clinic, but is not seriously ill. Taiwan, at least 23 cases, 1 death. Taiwan's Ministry of Health and Welfare reported another coronavirus case on Wednesday, bringing the total number of infected on the island to 23. The latest patient is a 60-year-old woman who is the sister of a man who died of the coronavirus on Sunday in Taiwan. She is the 5th person from the same family who contracted the virus, a ministry statement said. The man who died is Taiwan's first fatality from the virus. He was in his 60s and had a history of hepatitis B and diabetes, and no history of traveling abroad. Thailand, at least 35 cases. Thailand has confirmed its 35th case of novel coronavirus Monday, the Ministry of Public Health said. The latest case is a 68-year-old Chinese woman tourist who was the 4th person from the same family to become infected with the virus, the ministry added. Thai airports are now screening all Chinese visitors for symptoms. Thai citizens are also being asked to report anyone who seems to have fallen ill after recently traveling from China. United Arab Emirates, at least 9 cases. The United Arab Emirates confirmed its 9th case of novel coronavirus on Sunday, according to the Emirati Ministry of Health. A 37-year-old Chinese national is in stable condition after receiving treatment, the ministry added in a statement. The latest case brings the total number of people to have contracted the virus to 9 in the nation. 3 people have been treated and released from hospital while 1 patient is currently receiving intensive care, according to the statement. United Kingdom, at least 9 cases. A 9th patient has been diagnosed with the novel coronavirus in the United Kingdom, Public Health England said in a statement. 1 further patient in England has tested positive for novel coronavirus, bringing the total number of cases in the UK to 9, Chief Medical Officer for England Chris Whitty said in the statement. This virus was passed on in China and the patient has now been transferred to a specialist end centre at Guy's and St Thomas's hospitals in London. United States, at least 15 cases. The 15th confirmed coronavirus case in the US is being treated at Methodist Texan Hospital in San Antonio, according to a statement Thursday by Drive. Paul Hancock, Chief Medical Officer at Methodist Healthcare. The patient was an evacuee from China in quarantine at Lackland Air Force Base and was found to have a fever, Hancock said. The patient arrived in the United States on a State Department chartered flight on February 7, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. California has confirmed 8 cases of the virus, Illinois has 2, and there is 1 each in Arizona, Massachusetts, Wisconsin, and in Washington state where that patient was discharged last week. The State Department is telling us citizens not to travel to China amid the outbreak. In an advisory posted on the State Department website, the agency elevated its travel warning to "do not travel," and warned of possible travel restrictions to be put into effect with little or no advance notice. The advisory said us citizens currently in China should consider leaving using commercial means. Vietnam, at least 16 cases. Vietnam has confirmed its 16th case of novel coronavirus, according to a government news report. The 50-year-old male patient is the father of a previously confirmed case in Sun Loi commune in the northern Vinh Phuc province. The local authorities on Wednesday locked down the area around Sun Loi commune of Binh Doi district to contain spread of the virus. Residents in the area are quarantined for 20 days from February 13. CNN's Pauline Lockwood, Isaac Yi, Sarah Fadel, Junko Ogura, Yoko Wakatsuki, Yoonjung Seo, Joe Sutton, Jennifer Hensler, Saskia Ventorn, Fanny Bobil, Hira Humean, Anna Kam, Artemis Moshtagian, Yigtim Garcia, H. Davis, Karen Smith, Steve Tumala, Nada Altaher, Mick Creever, Coach Olan and Sugam Pokharel contributed reporting.